Hi guys, it's Grant Nelson again here with the Mustache Off-Grid YouTube channel. In case you're new to the channel, I cover different off-grid and homesteading topics, and I try to do things in an old-fashioned way, primitively, and I don't use any grid utilities or anything like that for the most part. Today I'm moving logs. I've been cutting these logs up, and I've been moving them by hand, and I've been making some piles over that way, which I'll show you later in the video. I was just going to show you a couple tricks on leverage for moving these things across the ground. Number one trick would be get a horse, but number two trick would be some of the things that I'm doing here today. I'm going to saw these two that I got down right here into about a 15 to 16 foot log, because I'm making my log cabin 15 by 15. So I'm going to cut it here, and then I'll show you guys how to move this stuff. You can see I've got a mess on the ground from all the logs I've already been cutting. You guys can probably see all the wood that I've been cutting up on the ground already here. And I'm going to stack that eventually, but no need right now. Figured I'd show you guys, if you're going through the woods here and you see a vine like this growing on the tree, that's poison oak. So you want, I think it's poison oak, could be poison ivy, but it's it'll make you itch. So if you do come across that, don't be handling it with your bare hands. Don't be rolling around in it. Just don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't even look at it. But anyway, I'm going to cut this log here. I just figured I'd show you guys that. Probably good to handle that stuff with gloves as well. Now, one thing too, when you're cutting a tree that's off the ground like this, if you cut from the top, it'll pinch your blade and it can be hard to get it out. So it's best to cut up from the bottom. So go underneath. Just a tip there, guys. Guys, all right guys, now the first trick here when you're moving one of these logs, this is just one way to do it, but if you take one end, and not everyone's going to be able to lift one of these, but luckily the Lord gives me two good arms to do so. But if you take one end and you kind of walk it. You take one end and move it over, and then you take the other end. Take the other end right here, and just slowly move it across the land. Now you can see I've got a lot of stumps coming up out of the ground, and I've been leaving them up there because once they rot, I can notch them with my chainsaw, and I might be able to pull them out with a chain once the pigs root around them, if they keep them fairly tall. So that's one thing. So one trick is kind of walking it, moving one end, then moving the other end. Another trick you can do is you can just kind of roll it. Just get down and you can go like this and roll it if you want. So that's another way. But the best way, and kind of one of the easier ways that I've found, you can see that if you get little stump knobs like these ones, you're gonna have to lift it over those. But if you got a nice smooth surface, the easiest way to move it is if you find yourself a good stick, and I'm gonna find the perfect one here. But if you find yourself a good stick, I like one that has a little bit of curve to it. You don't have to use one with a curve to it. You guys might not be able to see. But find yourself a stick. I like one that has a little bit of a curve to it. I just sawed this one right here off one of the branches. Now, if you take, just make sure we can see here. You can't really see that good. There, that's a little better. But if you put the stick underneath the log, you can, you can leverage. You can use the stick for leverage. So like if you put it underneath the log like this, and then you pull upward, you can move the log across the ground real nice. You can see it's a nice easy way. You take a stick like this to use some leverage, and then you go to the other side and do the same thing. And of course you're going to have some spots. I don't know how good you guys can see here. Let me look through the lens here. This might be better. Yeah, we'll set this down. That'll do it. But you still got to lift it over the stumps. So just keep that in mind. I got a big old stump right here. Ooh, that one's coming out nice. There, that one was real rotted. That one was there from years ago. But you take your stick underneath the log, and you just kind of keep moving it across the land, and you can get some nice leverage with it. You could use a 2x4 or things like that as well. That's actually what I started using. And then I figured, oh, I could just use a stick like this. And it might, you gotta kind of find where there's a gap to put it underneath. But it's a nice, easy way to move a heavy log. There's some of these logs I cannot lift the ends, like to lift it over the stumps and knobs and stuff. So this is one option for you if you can't lift it. I would say some of the logs I'm moving are probably well over 500 pounds. So this was the only way I could move them, is by using a stick leverage like this, or winching them if you're not using a horse or machinery. It is a little bit slower using this thing, I would say, but it's also a lot easier. So, and like I said, there's certain logs I cannot even move without using a stick like this for leverage. You can also, if you have like portable buildings and things like that, you have if you have portable buildings, things like that, you could take a 2x4 or a 4x4 or things like that and do the same thing. And kind of the further under it you put it, the more leverage you're going to get when you pull up on the stick. So you can, if you need to put a block under something heavy, like a chicken coop or something that's not connected to the ground, you can use a pry bar like this to lift a lot of weight. If you put it about 2 or 3 feet under there and then pull, you're going to be able to lift a lot more than if you just grab it with your hands and pull up. Just a little leverage trick. I figured I'd make a video on it because someone might not know or might not have thought of it in their mind, and it's something that can be helpful, you know, using like a primitive leverage option in certain situations. The next thing I'm going to show you guys here in this video is probably how to winch something with like a rope or chain, and how to get a lot of pressure winching something. So I'm going to keep moving this log over to the pile here, and so you guys can watch if you want. Yeah, we got a storm rolling in, guys, so might have to call this one early, but figured you guys would enjoy seeing me move this log onto the pile here. Right now I'm at about 23 logs cut, and I'm trying to get to 35 for the log cabin we're building. You can see the pile of logs I got here for it. But it's definitely a lot of work moving these logs up the hill and stuff. Woo! Alright, so that's one way to leverage a log and move it across the land by hand. You can see it's kind of a hard job. I try to make a goal myself, a pretty light goal for me, to move 5 a day, five logs a day, and sometimes I hit that goal, sometimes I don't. So it just depends on where you're at. guys, I got rained out when I was finishing that last part of the leverage video. I've got myself a rope right here, and it's a little bit tangled on the end there, but that's okay. I don't have anything I actually need to winch right now, but I'm just going to show you guys for demonstration how this leverage technique here works. If you've got a down tree or something like that and you need to pull it out, and you got a nice strong metal chain or a really strong thick rope, if you double it up like this, put it around whatever you want to pull, take the loop side and run this through it like that. So you take the loop, run it through it. You can see it's tangled up right now, but that's okay for demonstration purposes. Run it through the loop there. Then you got it secure right here. You can see once you run it through this loop, run your rope back through it, and then that's going to be secure. I don't know if you guys could see, so I'll get a little closer. But I took this loop right here. Basically, you double the rope up, and you take the loop side and you run the rope through it. And then you pull it tight like this. That's going to give you a little more strength on whatever you're pulling. I don't have anything I particularly need to pull right now. But I've got this big stump right here. And if you have something like this that you can hook to, it can be helpful. You want something that's solid. A tree or a stump or a vehicle could all be good options if you need something to hook onto for this particular method here. I'm just going to tie this around here. I'm not going to use any particular knot for tying this right now, just for demonstration purposes. But this can be a really helpful trick for tightening fences and things like that. If you don't have a winch. If you're in a situation where you don't have a winch, this is something that'll could work very well for you. But basically, you're going to want to tie it to something like this. Chain can be good for this, but you can see all I'm doing is running it through there. I'm just going to tie a very simple knot here. This knot can be very hard to get out, so you might want to tie something special if you're a knot person. I'm not. I don't have any special technique for it. I might put a stick in there or something just to give me some way to pull it out here, because it's going to get a little tighter when I pull it tight. That way I can get it undone, hopefully. Worst case scenario, I'll cut it. This is cheap rope anyway. Alright, but you can see I've got a knot there now, and I've got it around that tree there. Basically what you do, if you want to get leverage to pull something real heavy, and I'm talking you can get some serious leverage with this method right here, but you got the rope, the double rope like that. Get something like this, a stick or a log, and you can roll it in there. I've got this darn tree in my way. Alright. But I'm going to set the camera up here. But basically you can see you take a tree or something, or a limb or whatever you want, and you kind of spin it in between the ropes. And tighten it up. and you just keep doing it till it's tight. And you can get probably, I would guess that you can get, with the right rope and the right angles and everything, I'm guessing that you could probably get 1,000 to 2,000 pounds of pressure this way. But as you turn the log, you're getting, the line's getting tighter and tighter. And basically you just keep going. And you can get real tight. You just keep going, keep going, keep going. And you can get really tight. It's pretty tight right now, and truthfully it's getting tight enough that it could probably break this rope almost. But I'm just going to keep tightening it here. Yeah, I can feel the tension in it, really. You could probably tell with me spinning it that there's more tension. But yeah, you just take something like this and just keep spinning, and you're going to be able to move some real heavy weight like this, guys. I mean, this will pull, like I said, with the right rope and the right chains and everything like that, you could pull probably 1,000 to 2,000 pounds or more just with some simple winch like this. All right, that's probably good. Now, if you get something real tight like this, and you don't want it to let it go because it's gonna spin around. But if you take a stake and drive it in the ground, or a metal T-post or something like that, you can wire this right to that, and that way it'll hold that tension for you. This is an option if you're doing fencing to tighten the fence. It can be a good option to tighten the fence if you don't have a winch, a ratchet, or what do they call it, a come along. So yeah, just kind of a primitive winching technique I figured I'd show you guys. Figured maybe it might help someone that's out in the woods and all they have is a rope or a chain or something like that, maybe a metal cable, things like that. But you can pull some big old logs like this, guys. With the right rope and the right materials, you can really pull some weight like this. And just something to know. Keep it in your memory, and one day, you know, it might be helpful in a situation. Maybe it's 50 miles to town and you don't want to go to town to get a ratchet. This might be an option for you. I will say that if you're going off grid, rope can be a good thing to have on hand, just for tying stuff, winching stuff, all kinds of things. I mean, rope can just be a good thing to have on hand. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. God bless. And thank you for watching again. Bye. Sit. Sit. Come on, sit. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Lay down. Lay down. All right. Good boy. Hey guys, let's make Bailey famous. Let's make Bailey famous. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mustache Off Grid. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and God bless. Let's make Bailey famous, guys.